Welcome to another edition of Cinema Bros, where me and Nick, Spen, we review movies, we tell you what we think about them, and we tell you if they're good or not. This week, we reviewed You Are So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah. It is streaming on...
Bat Mitzvah.
Oh, I said Bar Mitzvah. I'm sorry, Bat Mitzvah. It is streaming on Netflix, stars Adam Sandler, his daughter Sunny Sandler, his other daughter Sadie Sandler, Adina Menzel, Sarah Sherman, Luis Guzman, Jackie Sandler, Adam Sandler's wife, and Ido Missouri as DJ Shmuley,
who you might recognize from Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Yes, correct.
Hey, Zohan.
You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. It's a comedy drama. Nick, do you have the IMDb description up?
Yeah. It follows Stacy Friedman. That's a different one. Stacy and Lydia are BFFs who've always dreamed about having epic bat mitzvahs. However, things start to go comically awry when a popular boy and middle school drama threatens their friendship and their rite of passage.
Okay, so you get the idea, you get the premise. Two best friends in middle school, they're dealing with popularity, puberty, boys, bat mitzvahs, and obviously there's a moment in the film where Adam Sandler's daughter, Sunny Sandler, who plays Stacy Friedman, she turns to her friend. What's the friend's name?
Lydia,
and she says the line, "You are so not invited to my bat mitzvah." Nick, what do you think of this? Give me some initial thoughts on this movie. A fun, family, feel-good, cute movie about growing up in Judaism, I guess.
First off, I want to say this is not an Adam Sandler movie. Okay, it's a Happy Madison production. He does play the father. Maybe he's in it 5% of the film. When Spen picked this movie, he said a new Adam Sandler movie is coming out, and I got really excited. This was directed and written by two people I've never heard of. They could be legit, but no one who's collaborated with Adam Sandler. And this is a movie written for tweens. This is a movie written for, the 8-year-old to 16-year-old demographic. I'm 28, Spencer is 30. With that said, I thought it was a cute movie. I didn't want to put a gun through my brain the entire time. I actually sat there. I was tired. I was chill, easy, non-thought-provoking, easy watch. I want to go on record and say that Rotten Tomatoes give this a 97%, which is a bit deceiving. But when you think about the market it is intended for, maybe that makes sense. That market is not us, and most likely not you guys who are listening, because I don't think we have a lot of 10 to 12-year-old female followers. And if we did, we probably have an issue that we need to discuss. Overall, though, Spen, I won't get too into it, but yes, easy watch. It was cute. It was a cute, wholesome movie with some funny moments and some great cameos. That's what I'll say.
So I'm with you. I didn't necessarily hate the movie. Wasn't my favorite. Obviously, we're not the demo, but you and I did have bar mitzvahs. We did go to a lot of those bar and bat mitzvahs when we were 13. We grew up in that Reformed Jewish culture, and that's what these girls are, right? So for those who are unfamiliar,
with that said though, their entire neighborhood is Jewish. Like everyone in public school goes to the Hebrew school. Like we were like the only Jewish people in our high school. And yes, the bar mitzvahs were fun, but they put this was their life. It was not our life.
Yeah, I mean, the other deceiving part of this is the fact that these people are so well off. Everyone lives in a mansion. They're freaking temple, okay? So there's my wife, who is not Jewish. She did not grow up going to temple. When she sees the temple they're in, she turns to me. She goes, "Was your temple like that?" And I go, "Our temple was a shoebox compared to, are you kidding me? Our temple was a little bit bigger than the home that me and Nick grew up in, which is a 1-story ranch in River Edge, New Jersey." Like, I look at this movie and it's just, I look at Adam Sandler and I think, did he just make a movie? And it's obviously a fictional movie because the characters are fictional, but did he make a movie that's sort of based on his real life? And all the problems are real and everything that happens in the movie because his family's well off and his daughter's friend's family's well off. And the only difference...
I don't think
What?
these were actual problems. And I heard, and I read an article about it, that Adam Sandler's daughters in real life, who were the actual daughters in the movie, I heard their bat mitzvahs were insane and featured like Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, like all the things that these girls wanted because they were rich but not rich enough. I'm pretty sure Sadie and Sonny Sandler actually had at their bat mitzvahs in reality.
Okay, I got you. So in the movie, Sonny Sandler's character, Stacey Friedman, she has to downplay her bat mitzvah, which looked insane. Are you telling me that his daughters in real life didn't have DJ Shmuley at their bat mitzvah? Is that what
They
you're
did
saying?
not have DJ Shmuley, and I just looked up the production history too of this film. It was actually based on a 2005 young adult novel by Fiona Rosenblum called "You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah," adapted by screenwriter Alison Peck, directed by Sammy Cohen, and they got Adam Sandler to star in it, and he brought on his production company Happy Madison in co-production with Alloy Entertainment. So just to confirm even further, this is not an Adam Sandler movie, but what I'm assuming was, and very smartly done of the production team, whoever was directing and bringing this to Adam Sandler, said, why don't we get your two daughters on board as well, and his wife, which I'm guessing sealed the deal.
See, so Adam Sandler is notorious for casting beautiful women in Hollywood to be his wife, right? The list is crazy. Jennifer Aniston, Salma Hayek, Drew Barrymore. In the movie Just Go With It, where he ends up with Jennifer Aniston, he dates Brooklyn Decker. I'm missing a good amount of people, but it's just he's always married to a beautiful actress. And I thought it was funny that this is a great opportunity to have Adam Sandler, Jackie Sandler, and his two daughters in the same family, yet Idina Menzel gets the role of his wife. She also played his wife in the movie Uncut Gems. So there's obviously some chemistry there.
There has to be an unspoken rule in the family of like, you can't just cast your wife as your wife in things. I feel like, one, Idina Menzel is a bigger name than Jackie Sandler. And two, if they establish that principle, so does she now have to be his wife in every single thing they make? Like, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's good to have those boundaries. And it would just be weird. Idina Menzel makes it okay.
Okay, listen, I get it. I think it's funny. I thought this was an opportunity for Jackie Sandler to be married to Adam Sandler in the movie. Yet they make Jackie Sandler the mother of Lydia, Stacey's best friend, and her ex-husband, or I guess her current husband, who she's in the process of a divorce with, is Luis Guzman, who's great. I freaking loved his role, man. We're watching the movie, and Victoria's like, I know him. I'm like, yo, Luis Guzman is in everything. He's been around forever. He's been around since Carlito's Way, since before. Like, he is a great, great actor.
I love him in Community. Also, I want to say that it is funny though, just speaking on the wife situation, that he cast Idina Menzel as his wife, then gave Jackie Sandler Luis Guzman, which was a real slap in the dick to Jackie Sandler. But Luis Guzman, I agree, he plays Adam Sandler's daughter's best friend's like an estranged father who's I think he was just a shitty dad for comedic effect. And I love that the daughter is Lydia Rodriguez Katz. You get like the Hispanic and the Jewish hyphenated last name there, which is fun. But yeah, Luis Guzman was a great cameo. Sarah Sherman, I thought, you know what's funny? I think Sarah Sherman's funny on SNL. She's not my favorite on SNL. I thought she stole this movie with her cameo as the Rabbi Rebecca. I thought she was hilarious.
I'm going to be showing my ignorance here. I was not familiar with her work. I didn't even realize she was on SNL. I did think she was really good in this role as sort of the hip rabbi who sings, but she also has to be stern when Stacey Friedman starts to misbehave, and there are moments where she's mean, and she's got to be that, balance between cool hip rabbi versus nasty, strict, don't be a bad girl rabbi. I thought she was brilliant. I had no idea who she was. So now I know.
Yeah,
Sarah Sherman.
She does some really funny, weird impressions. She's like a mom who was really pissed at Peppa Pig on Weekend Update. That's what I kind of saw her doing. And she's wacky, but I thought she stole the show she was weird when she tried to like dap up the kids in Hebrew school. She was like messing with the kid in the front row, Jason. I thought that was hilarious. So I will say to people who are watching this, it's a good family movie. But if you want to get a good laugh for more of our demographic, an older, sillier, darker crowd, Sarah Sherman makes some funny innuendos. She's super goofy, super spastic. I would say she is the best adult comedic part in this film.
Yes, Rabbi Rebecca is the character she plays. We got to talk about our man Dylan Hoffman and his performance as Andy Goldfarb. That was a brilliant casting. And Nick, you noticed there were a few different, I guess, homages to older Adam Sandler movies that I had missed that you did not miss.
Yeah.
So talk to the listeners about that.
Dylan Hoffman is Andy Goldfarb. He is the middle school heartthrob. He is in Stacy Friedman's public school and her Hebrew school. He is the guy that ends up putting a huge strain on her relationship with her best friend Lydia. So Stacy Friedman, Adam Sandler's daughter, Lydia Rodriguez-Katz, Jackie Sandler and Luis Guzman's daughter, they're best friends. And then Stacy always talks about how in love with Andy Goldfarb she is. What ends up happening is Lydia gets Andy Goldfarb out of the movie. Their friendship divides. That is why Stacy ends up saying the titular line, "You are so not invited to my bat mitzvah." But as Spencer's talking about, Andy Hoffman is this, 14 years old in real life? I don't know. And he's just supposed to play this like almost stoner-esque middle school skateboarder.
He's a bro, right? He's a bro. He's he's the guy. He's got the hip lingo. He's the guy all the girls want. That's what it is. And it's funny because it really kind of defines like that first crush you have. Like there are moments in the movie where Stacy Friedman is talking to Andy Goldfarb and they're having like a conversation about nothing. Like he'll say something and she'll just go, she'll go facts. And he'll be like, dope. Like their conversations go nowhere. But he played that role great. And obviously if you see this movie, the best part of this movie with Andy Goldfarb, Stacy Friedman starts to volunteer at an assisted living facility that Andy Goldfarb's grandma is at. And she does it because, well, she needs to do community service for her bat mitzvah, which is part of it. And it's also to see Andy. So they're sitting and they're having this conversation, and it's as much as you can picture a conversation between two young 13-year-olds going who have crushes on each other, and then Andy Goldfarb goes to leave, and all of a sudden he has a basketball, and he starts dribbling the basketball, and he jukes out two old guys. And what did he say? Because I remember you texted me. I couldn't really hear. Rules. It's a Goldfarb rules.
As obviously Billy Madison O'Doyle rules. He said Goldfarb rules, and I think Adam Sandler does a good job of kind of sprinkling those little moments in for these diehard Adam Sandler fans. I know me and Spen are diehard Adam Sandler fans, and I can't exactly remember. I remember someone said "So let's go," which is from obviously "Don't Mess with the Zohan." That's kind of his catchphrase is "So let's go." Someone says that in the movie, and I can't remember if it's Adam Sandler to the bat mitzvah. And I just remember hearing that and going, "Oh shit, there we go. There's another little Adam Sandler reference."
Yeah, there are a lot of moments in this movie that were Sandler-esque. Listen, I got to give credit where credit is due. I thought that both Sonny Sandler and Sadie Sandler, they did a really good job. I thought Sonny played
Sadie is the older sister in real life, and she played the older sister Ronnie in the movie.
Right, and her character in the movies, the older sister that knows everything, that's been through it all, that just appears to be so much more experienced and smarter than her younger sister. And for Sonny Sandler's character, Stacy Friedman, she's going through everything you go through as a 13-year-old girl and then some. I liked the way the movie ended. I watched it with my wife, Victoria. She wasn't crazy about the ending. She's like, I would never. This is a spoiler alert, by the way. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to know the ending, fast forward for the next minute and 30 seconds. Minute and 30 seconds to be safe. She wasn't a fan of the fact that Stacy Friedman relinquished her bat mitzvah to give basically her day to her best friend Lydia because she had ruined Lydia's bat mitzvah by accident.
Well, I mean, let's give a brief. I know we bop around during these, or we're figuring out the best way to give the synopsis, but we kind of told you guys her and her best friend break up, essentially. Basically, what happens is, in order to impress Andy, Stacy jumps off a cliff into a lake, and everyone thinks she's crazy. Then you realize when you look down at the water, her pad that's been collecting her period blood had slipped out of her or off of her when she jumped in the lake. And all of a sudden, she's a 13-year-old girl in a lake, and everyone's looking down at her floating bloody pad. And everyone starts hysterically laughing at her in a very bully-esque way. And she looks up and sees her best friend Lydia laughing too. She says to Lydia, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Next thing she knows, she shows up to Lydia's house later to maybe make amends, and Lydia is kissing Andy Goldfarb, her crush. Lydia and Andy Goldfarb start dating. That kind of seals the friendship is done. And now, in kind of as they're both prepping for their bar mitzvahs that they're not going to go to each other's, Stacy starts plotting against Lydia, keeps planting these ideas in Andy's mind that Lydia has long nipple hairs. She spreads another rumor about her. She writes a comment online about her. All these really mean things to her best friend. She makes a video. So the whole thing was because they were best friends, Stacy was going to make a video montage for her best friend Lydia's bat mitzvah. Now, those of you who don't know, haven't been to bar mitzvahs, there's always like a sappy montage of the kid going from like 2 years old to 13-year-olds, how we got to now, friend pics, family pics, while like a beautiful song plays in the background. She edits a really mean video montage of all her friend Lydia's worst moments and doesn't plan on sending it. She just kind of did it out of anger. Adina Menzel, her mom, finds the video, thinks it's the video for Lydia, gives it to Lydia's mom and said, oh, here's the video that Stacy made for Lydia. Stacy ends up going with her family to Lydia's bat mitzvah, and she doesn't realize that's what happened. Her mom gave the video, and just when she wants to be okay with Lydia, kind of towards the end of the movie, the video plays, absolutely embarrassing the hell out of her friend Lydia.
So a few things. Number one, your time constraints are terrible. If you're listening and it's been 1:30, we apologize for spoiling the movie. Hopefully you watched it. It was a fun movie. Second thing, this movie, I mean, those scenes where they're at the bat mitzvah and you know that the embarrassing videos are going to play and everyone there is going to watch these embarrassing moments in this young woman's life, I couldn't watch. They were so, I mean, it's a fictional
really?
kid.
I felt nothing.
All right. But oh no, dude. I don't know why I get so uncomfortable in moments in movies where one character gets embarrassed to the point where they start crying. It's going to sound so stupid, and I'm going to reference it because I don't care, but the movie Hot Rod, right? Hot Rod is as dumb and as just brainless as it gets for a comedy, Andy Samberg's movie. But there is a moment in the movie where he gets everyone in an auditorium to watch his highlight reel of him being a stuntman, and everyone in the theater laughs, right? And I feel uncomfortable. There's something about just a human being being embarrassed
public humiliation.
Public humiliation. I know it's a fictional kids movie. I still hate it. And I think about like what, listen, movies aren't real life. I get that, but you think about a situation in real life where that happened at a woman's bat mitzvah. Oh my goodness. So I don't know. For it being a relatively easygoing, family-friendly movie, there were moments in this, man, where I actually cringed. Like I had to look away, especially when she starts spreading rumors about her and she writes these anonymous things on social media network
also,
about her best friend.
We're a little older now, and even like the moments of like 13-year-old girls talking about periods, I was like, I don't need to hear that, So it's definitely a little bit of like I aged out of that type of situation. I almost don't want to. I want to be a little blind and ignorant to those things, especially as we get older. We see these 13-year-old movies and films and things that are, what's that movie 8th Grade that Bo Burnham directed? And it's supposed to be, and I haven't seen it, and I don't really I love Bo Burnham. He's a comedic genius, but it's supposed to be so disturbing about this 8th grade girl going through like life and puberty and not knowing how to talk to boys, and she like wants to give a BJ. I heard it's so hard to watch, like very well done, but so hard to watch. Now this wasn't anywhere close to that, but I'm agreeing with your point of like some things you just don't need to see. Public humiliation aside, when people are that young going through life, it makes it even harder sometimes to watch.
Agreed. I agree with everything you said. Finishing out this review, I want to shout out Dean Scott Vasquez. He played Mateo. Really liked Mateo's character. Mateo was sort of he was the friend that was always there. He was super sweet to Stacey Friedman. She never had any real interest in him because he wasn't a heartthrob like Andy Goldfarb. But at the end, was it Sonny's bat mitzvah where she dances with Mateo? Yeah,
Stacey, played by Sonny.
Right. So Sonny Sandler's character, Stacey Friedman, dances with Mateo, even though she's got like 3 or 4 inches on him. That was a nice scene. That's normal for that age.
The best Mateo scene, because Mateo is Hispanic, and the funniest thing is Mateo's in the Hebrew school volunteering with all the little kids, and he like knows and he like goes, well, let's eat some challah, and they all laugh because it's challah, and like he's just doing it's funny that he's the one non-Jewish kid in the entire movie, and yet he's just like the sweetest kid who wants to be involved in the Jewish culture.
Yeah, you're right. Anything else before we give our final ratings? I like DJ Shmuley. I think he was my favorite character. I mean, we didn't even talk about Sandler's performance.
Yeah, we could. Okay, Adam Sandler plays the dad. He's in the beginning. He's in like the first 5 minutes. You're like, oh, cool, Adam Sandler's in it. And then he's kind of sprinkled throughout. I'd say maybe he has 5 or 6 scenes throughout the movie. He's in a scene where she's pitching like exactly what she wants her bat mitzvah to be like. He's in a scene where she freaks out on Lydia, and he has to try to make her feel a little better. And he comes in and yells at her. He gives her some tough love.
That was a great scene, by the way. And you think about that scene in terms of, you know, the fact that he's her father in real life. So there have had to be moments in her adolescence where he actually gave her a hard time and he yelled at her. That's what dads do, right? So it was such a funny concept of him yelling at her in the room. And that was when I think Lydia's mom came by, right? When she's getting yelled at. And Idina Menzel and who plays Adam Sandler's wife, her and Jackie Sandler, Adam Sandler's real wife, are having that conversation at the doorway while Adam Sandler is blasting his daughter in the movie in her room. And it's awkward because they're trying to have a conversation and you just hear both the father and the daughter yelling at each other. I wonder if that is really how he reprimands her in real life. Like maybe that wasn't really acting.
I mean, it was definitely acting, but it may be close to how he handles things in real life. I'm not sure. I think he did his role great. There's a moment in the end where she tries to leave her own bat mitzvah ceremony to try to make up with Lydia, and he hugs her and says, you have to finish your Torah portion, which obviously is just funny that as much as the friendship was ruined, Adam Sandler's like, no, you are becoming a woman, you're completing what you practice, which is kind of although this was more of a middle school drama, it also stuck to its Jewish roots of the importance of the bat mitzvah, the importance of what your community service, what your message is. So she ends up giving a speech at the end, Stacey Friedman, apologizing to Lydia, realizing she needs to save the relationship. And like Spence said, she ends up throwing her own bat mitzvah party for Lydia and letting Lydia have her entrance, which apparently the huge thing in the bar bat mitzvah is the entrance. What's your song? What's your dance when you come out? Adam Sandler is great. Last person I want to give credit to, it was Sadie Sandler again. She plays Ronnie, the older sister. She had this recurring bit with her friend, I forget the friend's name, where they loved scary movies. And at every bar and bat mitzvah they went to throughout the entire film, there were probably 5 or 6, her and her friend watched like Chucky, and they watched what else did they watch that was super scary? I can't even The Shining maybe. And these 2 guys, they were about 16, 17, the older siblings. These 2 guys every time would come and try to hit on them, and they'd say, shut up, we're watching a movie. And then in the end, they let the guys put their arms around them and they're all watching the movie together. And I thought that was just a funny recurring bit that Sadie Sandler did really well. And it gave her more of a personality and a character in this film.
I think the friend was Zara. Zara was her name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was pretty funny. I'm just looking at the cast. No, Michael Buscemi was in this movie. I think he's a brother of Steve Buscemi. Jackie Hoffman. Jackie Hoffman is in Only Murders in the Building. She played Irene in this movie. Dan Bulla played Cantor Jerry. It was a nice movie. Not a ton of big names, but a few. Nick, what would you give this movie out of 10?
Okay, so I'm gonna rate it as an overall movie, not one that I'm not giving it like a rating based on if I wanted to watch it. I'm giving it on a rating that what was it trying to do? You know what I mean? Was it a good teenage drama comedy? Which I think it was. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I think for what it was, I think high school, middle school kids would love this. I think Jewish people especially would love this. I think if we watched it with mom and dad, our family, that would be really fun. We'd laugh a lot more. If I was saying, would I watch this personally as Nick, as a 28-year-old dude with a specific taste, I might end up giving it a 5 or a 6. But for what it is and what I think it was trying to do, I'll give it a 7.5.
It was a 5.3 for me out of 10. It could have been lower. The only reason it wasn't lower, it made me laugh a few times. Like, this movie's an hour and 43 minutes. It was long for me. Like, I found myself at the midpoint of the movie pausing to see how much time was left numerous times. And here's what I think. So there's only one other movie I can think of that's really centric around bar and bat mitzvah, right? And that's Keeping Up with the Steins, which came out, I want to say, like maybe 15 years ago at this point, or I think mid to late like 2000, so like around 2008, 2009, if you can look that up for me. And we love that movie, and I think that we love that movie because the bar and bat mitzvah is almost as much as it is about the parents and the family as it is about the child, right? Like, of course, it's about the man or the woman, or I'm sorry, 2006. It's about the boy or the girl becoming a bar bat mitzvah. They're becoming a man in the Hebrew culture, or a woman, but they're like the parents who have to put this together. Where do you sit people? Which family members don't make the cut? Keeping Up with the Steins had the perfect blend of that, right? It was about the kid.
Sven.
Yeah.
You're 30 reviewing this movie. You were 13 when you saw Keeping Up with the Steins. That got a 36 on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Sure.
You're telling me that your age, me being 11, you being 13, at the time, had nothing to do with us loving that movie and thinking it was hilarious?
I didn't see it until I was 17. I saw it 4 years later.
Didn't we see it in theaters with the family?
I don't think so. And you don't have proof.
Okay. I just feel like you're making an argument 15 years later about a movie that you loved when you were a teenager.
Okay, I never said I loved the movie Keeping Up with the Steins. All I'm saying is, in terms of the storytelling, in terms of the enjoyment I got from the movie when I was 17, not 13, I like the format of Keeping Up with the Steins better. I thought that this movie did not have enough of the parents. It did not have enough of the planning of the bat mitzvah with the family. I didn't see any grandparents really. I don't know. And I didn't love the writing. Andy Goldfarb had a few funny lines. The rabbi, Rebecca, was a good character, but this movie was lacking a lot for me, Nick. And I don't say that because I'm 30. I say that because I watch a lot of movies. And I don't know. There was a lot missing for me. Again, Adam Sandler's the biggest name in this movie. He probably has 15 minutes of screen time. His daughter was great. I just thought there could have been a lot more. And yeah, I was excited to watch this movie. And within 30, 40 minutes, I was definitely ready for it to be over.
Well, I think that's also the difference between you and I is you went in thinking it's an Adam Sandler movie and you were excited about how silly it was going to be, and it was not what you expected. Then you warned me about what it was going to be. So I went in there dreading it and was pleasantly surprised. So it goes in to show what pre-movie biases can do to a movie. So you gave it a 5.3, you said?
Yeah.
So it's a 6.4 between the two of us. I agree it was a little long. If I had to give any sort of notes structurally on the movie, I would say it probably had two or three endings. It didn't need. It felt like they made up, bigger fight, made up, bigger fight, made up again. So I do think there was a little too much towards the end. I probably would have ended a little sooner, had a bigger blowout a little sooner in the movie. But I'll let you guys be the judge if you see it. But okay, I think we are coming from different places. The movie to me was not in any way that I want to turn it off while watching it. It was an easy, silly watch. If you have a significant other, you guys have some popcorn and you want to just watch something goofy together and get a little giggle in, I think this movie is good. Bonus points if you are Jewish. If you are not, you might not get a lot of the references. But if you are curious about Jewish culture and bar and bat mitzvah culture, a b'nai mitzvah is when people have that bar and bat mitzvah together. twins maybe, or a boy and a girl, or a brother and a sister, then you might find this interesting. But it sounds like Sven wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's that bad.
All right. I think that's fair. What will we be watching next, Nick? Have you thought of a movie to review for our next episode?
No.
And you can say no. Okay, the answer is no. All right. So we will get back to you on our Instagram page in terms of the next movie we will be reviewing. Otherwise, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Cinema Bros. I'm Spen. He's Nick. And
wait, I got a movie. Guys. I got a movie.
Okay.
The Big Short.
Yeah, you want to review? Okay, I've seen The Big Short. I like The Big Short. Have you seen The Big Short?
Yeah, but only in theaters, and it just came out on Netflix, and I want to watch it again.
Okay, so is that the movie? And you don't have to be. That's the movie. You're 100% sure.
I'm 90% sure.
Okay, so as of right now, The Big Short will be our next review. If something changes, we will let you know on Instagram. Otherwise, watch The Big Short. We're going to talk about it on our next episode. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys when we catch you.
Peace.